wasn't. No, I wasn't. You listen, Amore. Maybe you don't know how to be loved or how to stand up for yourself.
Watch.
No. We're two different.
Watch your mouth.
No,
I'm
two
not
different.
afraid of you.
I'm not afraid.
Here we go! Here the fuck we go!
You put people in the hospital?
No,
I
no.
put people in the funeral.
You know what I do? I bury them. I saw a side of shut up!
What's up, y'all? It's Brian Keith, and I'm back with another video. And today we conclude the Real Housewives of New York season 14. And I can say that I enjoyed the reunion. I enjoyed the show through and through. I love the fact that, you know, we rebooted with like girls that we actually can like grow to, like or hate. But y'all, like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Let me check my shit real quick. Hotter than the fire coming out my flaming lips. You wanna play with me? You can't play in me. On the playground, bitch, you can't play with me. Got it, wanted, securing the bag.
So it started out with Jessel. She's still going off on Aaron and Sai.
No, I did not. Having sex with him. No, I did not.
Yes, you both did.
No, I did not.
No, they're like, no, I did it. But my whole thing is like, we have footage, we have evidence, like you are on camera, you signed up to be on camera, you've been saying this. So I'm just like, what part did we not understand that that's what we were saying? Like, oh, well, you know, you just never know what her husband's doing. I'm just like, girl, you're implying that, like, cause she's like, you said it. Did they really say it? No, but did they imply? Hell yeah. So Andy asked her like, okay, so did you talk about your postpartum to the other ladies? And she's like, yes, I did. To be honest, I don't think she did talk about her postpartum to them. She talked about it to us, the viewer, in her confessionals.
About your postpartum struggles in the same conversation?
Yes.
Was it one in the same?
No.
Of course.
Thank you, Ruba. We did not. Well, you did in your confessionals.
What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Because at the end of the day, you still implied that her husband was cheating on her, postpartum or not. Like, they're like, oh, there should be a reason why you're not having sex, da-da-da. That's their marriage. Like, I don't know what's going on. We could speculate like they did. That's just what it is. So, you know, Aaron's like, you know, Aaron was like, at the end of the day, you know, I did a lot on TV and I apologize. And when I finally saw what you said in your confessions, I was like, oh my gosh, I finally understand. I'm just like, so it took you all of that to really see it on TV to understand the gravity of what she was going through. Like, I mean, y'all really went to, my whole thing is like, I could see if she went to like, yeah, girl, I think your husband's cheating or da-da-da. You didn't even go to her face. You just been kikiing with Sai on the phone, on FaceTime, or in her face. You never went to Jessel's face and told her that you thought her husband was cheating on her.
Vietnam make it even worse for 24 hours. That's enough time to get into trouble.
So Andy segues to, you know, the cackling hag comment, and Jenna brought up like, you like, at the end of the day, like, I know people that bring that up and they call that, it's very common in England. People say cackling hags, this, that, and the third. Now, is that the first time I ever heard that reference or someone calling someone that? No. Brynn and I think Aaron was like, I never heard that. That's not a common thing. I know the Queen of England. I know the governor of Scotland. Like, they just made it seem like that was just so, you know, beyond that nobody says that. I'm just like, girl, at the end of the day, she called you cackling hags. Okay, and let's move on. Like, it is what it was. And it brings up, you know, the viewer question about Sai not believing Jessel in the first place. She was like, she thought that Jessel was lying throughout the whole entire thing. The whole dress conversation with Jenna, we all know that Jenna gifted Jessel a tree dress that was bad built, bad shapely. She looked like she said, I get why Jessel was like, oh my God, I don't like this dress. I get it, because the girl looked right. But when we saw her in the lingerie, like what, 10 episodes later, the girl looked good. But she was over here, felt like Jessel was just doing a little too much. Let's put in a little bit, 20 on 10. And that, so I was like, you know, I felt embarrassed for Jenna, and I just felt it was so rude. And to be honest, like I said, Jessel was doing too much. She apologized. She realized that, you know, she was doing too much. She saw the error in her ways. They moved right along. It was what it was. And to be honest, I feel like Jenna should have been speaking up more. I feel like Jenna literally was not trying to catch fades. Jenna was like, let me just sit here, look cute, not say too much. So Twitter question to Sai and Aaron about, you know, criticizing Jenna and Jessel's story. Like, you criticize Jenna for not opening up, but you broke apart Jessel's story when you wanted to know more about her. And it's just funny because it's just like with Aaron, we don't really know shit about you, girl.
It was hard for me was these girls would talk about, you know, these really hard upbringings and growing up with literally nothing.
Erin said that she felt like Jessel's stories weren't adding up and her stories weren't her own. And you know, the other girls had such compelling and deep trauma-filled stories, and Jessel didn't you know, struggle or whatever. Two things keep it right at the same time. I can be well off growing up, but it doesn't discount my struggle. Everybody's struggle is different. Some people are just better off than others. Like, we all know that some people come from a silver spoon. It's just like a situation where it's like with Jessel, she's saying that I had a normal life growing up. But it doesn't mean that she was just over here just rich. Because Erin was just like, girl, you had savings account. You had an internship. Like, people don't work their ass off to get that shit. So it's just kind of irritating. Jessel said Sai's comment about the Mayflower was offensive and hurtful and belittling. And Sai's just like, you need to stop saying that. You need to stop using words like that. You not saying belittling. I'm like, girl, you're trying to change the narrative of what you said. Girl, you was over here in that confessional talking mad shit. Like, she's saying that her parents came from Kenya, and you talk about she rode up on the Mayflower. Girl, what? But I find it funny because Sai, you always like, oh, you are bringing up your parents' story. You're bringing up your parents' story. But Sai, to be honest, if we want to use that same narrative,
stop bringing up your mama.
You can't, right? Because it's a part of your story. What your mother went through made a trauma bond to you, and it's just like with our ancestors. We are our ancestors. We are our parents. It's just like, how do we untether ourselves from that, good or bad? So that's what I'm just like, girl, you want to be like, oh, Jessel, you're bringing up your parents. I want to know about you. I want to know about you. And she's telling you that when I was younger, this happened, and this shaped me to the person I am today. I don't see where they're confused at. Like, she's trying to compare stories. Brynn had a hard story growing up. Uba had a hard story growing up. Jenna had a hard story growing up. And Sai had a hard story growing up. That's perfectly fine. But you can't discount what Jessel went through just because she over here just had a normal life and then happened to become a mega rich PR person.
I talk about my parents and where they come from because it informs my identity. It's the color of my skin.
So Jenna and Uba are trying to explain the whole uncle versus mom comment and how like it's different, and like we get it. Like, the uncle passed away, that's alcoholic. The mother passed away, that's alcoholic. I get it. And you know, Uba's like, you know, when I'm from Africa. In Africa, we see our aunts and uncles like parent figures.
We take our aunt and uncle like literally our mom.
Her mother had just passed away.
I was feeling protective of her.
And Sai basically shuts it down. She said, girl, I don't want to talk about my mother, so let's go ahead and drop it. Which is fine. So Sai basically explains that, you know, it was 5 months post the passing of her mother. You know, her mother passed, and then that's when she had that lunch with Jessel, so she didn't want to talk about the situation. And I could totally get that. I could get how it could be triggering. You don't want to talk about it. It's still a sore spot. I get that. But you did bring it up multiple times before then, Sai. So, you know, she recognizes that Jessel didn't mean any ill will, and she's just like, you know, I understand. It was just too much at the time. I apologize for going off. It was what it was. Cool. Jessel apologized. She's like, look, my uncle was like a father figure to me, but I get that it wasn't the same, and I apologize. So they moved on from that situation, which is great. Thank God. Brynn tells Jessel, she said, girl, you need to stop apologizing because she over here dragged your marriage. Like, why are you apologizing to her? And, you know, Sai keeps trying to tell her, like, girl, pipe down. Ain't nobody talking to you. You over here trying to get in the middle of this. We just mended it. You're trying to make it messy, which we already know Brynn is a messy girl. She's a messy girl. I'm cool with it. But it was what it was. So Jessel tells Sai, like, you know, I wasn't trying to compare. We're good. So they moved on. And to bring up Jessel living off her savings while in college, like like we brought up. Erin's like, see, that's the type of privilege that you have a savings account. I'm like, girl, my whole thing is this. There are people that live underneath the bridge and they still can go to college. There are people that are in a fucking penthouse that are broke as fuck. We just don't know people's circumstances. It's until you walk in somebody else's shoes, we do not know.
That's fun, that's for sure. He's not living off $5,000 in New York City, girl.
Having savings account and having college paid for is a privilege.
Listen, my parents.
The whole thing is Jessel saying, like, she literally says, like, look, I got an internship while I was in college. I had to pay for everything myself. I just had a roof over my head because my uncle let me stay with him. Mind you, that was similar to the situation that I went through when I came back to North Carolina. I had to stay with my grandma. I got a job. I went to school full time. Nobody has spent a dime for my school. I paid for myself. I had an internship. I did everything by myself. But my grandmother provided a roof over my head until I got on my feet and moved out and got my own and graduated twice. So I understand where Jessel's coming from because I went through the same shit. But I'm not saying that, oh my God, it was so rough for me. The shit happened. I got through it. Look where I'm at today. Period. But one thing with Jessel, I want her to, I feel like sometimes I do agree with Brynn where it's just like, Jessel, you do let these girls railroad you and question you a lot. At the end of the day, just say, this is what it was. That's what I did. If you got a problem with it, talk to Jesus about it. Don't talk to me. Period. Right? Andy tells Aaron, you didn't like Brynn flirting with your husband, but you made comments about Jessel's husband. What's the difference?
Aaron, what's the difference between what you did and what Brynn did?
Look, I'm really sorry. It just was not right. I shouldn't have even, I was poking fun.
So Aaron's like, you know what? I apologize. I was just poking fun. But you know, I still think it's strange that your husband is going to fly to Vietnam for a sandwich. It's strange. And even Jenna was like, look, I know girls that, you know, my closest friend, she flies frequently just for the miles. So, I mean, it was what it was. To be honest, I just feel like it's just rich people problems. Like, girl, if I can fly to Italy right now for just lunch, I would. And come back the same day. I would if I could. Right? So, it's just rich people problems. I'm just like, girl, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. He got the money, he did it, cool. But like I said, they want to keep saying like, oh,
He was doing this. He's trying to cheat on you.
and now over here on an apology tour. When I say Aaron and Sai was apologizing profusely, goddamn, right? Andy asked Sai, like, do you think Jessel is lying now? And she's like, you know, kind of, sort of, but, you know, maybe it was a misunderstanding. And Jessel's like, girl, so why are you so invested? Why do you care so much then? And Sai was like, yeah, I care so much. I care so much. Whoa, whoa, whoa. She said, it was what it was. I did it. Okay, move on. So Brynn starts to talk, and, you know, as Brynn starts to talk, Sai's like, girl, it's not your husband. Shut up.
I apologize.
Pinpointing everything and fact-checking it. Did you say this or did you not?
It's not your husband. Talking to Jessel.
When I say Brynn is on Sai's ass, Sai, Jessel, and Aaron, where do we go from here? Right? Because, you know, there's going to be a season 2. So they're like, we're all good, you know. We go out for lunch. We actually hang out. But it's just like, we're at the reunion, so we got to hash it out. Which, I get it. Like, it was what it was. So, you know, now we're on Sai's segment and act like, why she's so hungry. They talk about maybe she got to take worm because, baby, you eat a lot. We see Sai's story, right? And like I said, Sai's story is compelling and she does have redeeming qualities. She's just an asshole, right? Like, I feel like she has a tough exterior. She's from New York. These girls, like, we have to realize that these girls are from New York. So it's like they have a very fast paced, very like in your face personality, right? So it's just like she is a true asshole. But I like Sai. I just think that she can be kind of just reckless at times. But I do like Sai because her story is compelling. She opens up about her mother, like, wasn't stable growing up and how she basically had to be the parent to her mother.
She was not stable and, you know, we moved around a lot and she did her best.
And she talks about that, you know, her mother was, you know, in assisted living / rehab and, you know, had to stay with her for, like, I think towards the end, had to stay with her. So it's just like one of those things where I feel like sometimes we have to take care of the people that we love because, I mean, those are our loved ones. So we have to step up to the plate. But I do feel like at times the lesson has to be learned. I said, because if you constantly become that safety net for someone, they will never, ever, ever learn the lesson. It's like, how can I learn the lesson if you're going to constantly be there?
And David said she has to go. You have to throw her out. And it was the hardest thing I ever had to do. Mother who had no money, nothing. She didn't have a place to go. She had nothing.
David demanded her to be thrown out. And literally she blames the death of her mother on her because she said, 3 months later, her mother passed away in a park in New York. And that is just unfortunate. My heart goes out to her and her family. My condolences, just because like that would be mentally a lot and very draining. And I can only imagine. And in her head, like she said, like, I've never been to therapy. I don't talk about this. I don't bring it up. So I can just only imagine. So maybe Sai should go think about like talking to someone to talk it out, because that would be a lot. And it makes me reflect on my own life with my dad. Like, I already told y'all that me and my dad, we have ups and downs, child. Right now we're at a down. We're at a down. But it doesn't mean that we're always going to be there. It's just right now I have to set my boundaries, and that's just what it is, right?
I know it was so hard for you to share all this stuff.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard.
Hearing you talking about
Brynn off the rip was a great addition to the show. She's bubbly, she's cool, but at some point it does become a lot and repetitive, and it becomes one note at times until she gives you that. It's like a switch get turned on where she becomes like this brilliant, unique, quirky girl, and I'm just like, I like that side. But regardless, it's a like diametrical opposite, as Dorit would say. But you know, Brynn talks about Andy. Brynn talks to Andy about, you know, her dad. When she found out her dad was dying, she went to, you know, visit him in the hospital, and that turned out to be her going to see him every week. And, you know, she told him everything that she did in the past, that she's doing in the present, and what she wants to do in the future. And, you know, unfortunately he passed away, and I feel like she wanted to do that so she could have that glimmer of the father-daughter relationship, because she never had that. Her parents literally abandoned her to live with her grandmother, and then she saw her father as a grown adult.
Lifetime movie. It's like, come on, you know, like, it was amazing. It was amazing closure. Like, I got a really good 3 months, and yeah.
So a viewer question asked Brynn, you know, how do you embrace your being African American today? And she's like, you know, she feel more embraced now than ever. She talks about as a kid, we talked about this before, that, you know, Brynn literally looks like a white girl until you see like her natural hair when it's not pressed down. Like, she talks about, like, you know, she went to all white school growing up. She had the afro, like, she got bullied. I mean, we already know where it's going, right? She talked about how the salon was her safe haven, and it really gave her the exposure to the black community. So, you know, she's happy that she had that experience.
Start going to Bradley's. It was like, I didn't know at the time, but like, it was so incredible to sit there, because at a black hair salon, you're there for a long time.
So then we get on the whole thing of, like, Andy wants Brynn to explain what she does, and I felt like it was self-explanatory when she first brought it up that she's a branding consultant. Basically, like, she takes brands, companies, sole proprietorships, individual entities, and get deals for them through companies or other brand deals. So I would assume that's what it was, right? Andy basically asked Brynn and Aaron, like, okay, y'all relationship is hot and cold. Like, where do y'all stand? Aaron's like, you know, I love her. You know, I have a mutual respect for her. And while she's talking, Uba's rolling her eyes. And she's like, what, Uba? Why are you rolling your eyes? What's going on?
Each other, we're still going to have that like underlying mutual respect that it's not going to get. Why are you rolling your eyes?
Because most of you guys are fake, that's why.
Why does that?
Uba's like, because y'all are fake and this shit ain't real. Brynn's like, okay, at the end of the day, like, we have a mutual respect for each other. It was what it was. Like, please. And I thought she was going to tell her to, like, butt out the conversation. I was like, Brynn, you can't tell nobody to butt out because you've been hopping into everybody's beef throughout the whole reunion. So, girl, if Uba wants to talk, let her talk.
Pigeon, at least you admit you did it. She doesn't. So you're not similar at all. We're not fake. If I say that I like her, if I say how it is, and that's how it is. You don't need to pipe.
Uba really was on one, and I was here for it all, right? So the viewer question asked Aaron, like, you're so sensitive, and, you know, I call it easily offended. Like, they were like, oh my God, like, your butt is so small. And then she's over here crying, talking about,
why would she say she's such a bitch saying my butt's so small?
like, girl, what? Girl, you just got a small butt. You got a back. That's it, right? So, you know, we get on the whole Anguilla trip and the prank. When I say Uba was not playing with nobody, who thinks that Uba overreacted? And to my surprise, Brynn raised her hand. And I'm surprised because Brynn told her in the car, I understand where you're coming from, but when you yell, it doesn't go well. So now she raised her hand and said that she was overreacting. Okay, I think it took Uba by surprise too, which is why Uba turned the heat up on her. So Uba's basically commanding the floor, and she's just like, look, let me talk, let me get this out, and then y'all can respond. So she tells them that, you know, in the group chat, I have a group chat with my family, and when I go overseas or when I travel, because I travel all the time, I check in when I get there, and before I sleep, I check in, and in the morning, I check in. That's just what I do, so they know I'm safe because they live in a different time zone. I understand it because me, my sister, my mom, we have a group chat too. We do the same thing. So I get it. So Jenna tells Uba that she was like, without context, I would have not known that. So I did think you were over the top.
Of that, it just felt really over the top considering what had happened. Jenna, I just want to make it very clear to you. I did not react.
Child, I can understand where Jenna's coming from, but my whole thing with Jenna is that you were going off of like face value. You didn't ask Uber how she felt. You didn't ask nothing, because the whole thing was Uber didn't say nothing to Sai or Aaron throughout the whole day. And she told us that she was talking to Jessel. Jessel confirmed that she told her, like, look, she cried in the morning, and then after that she got her phone back. She was over here like, I'm not gonna talk to her till the evening because I don't want to go off of her.
Let me calm down, and I will talk to her in like the afternoon, or when I come down.
Yeah. Can I respond?
No,
Okay.
Then Aaron came and told her, say, don't say my name, don't say my name. And that's when Uber over here got in her face and snatched some glasses off her face. So, okay, right. Uber tells Aaron that you started it. So she was like, if you would never said what you said, then I wouldn't have come off of you, because I wasn't going to talk to you throughout the whole day. Andy was like, okay, so you didn't text Jessel, Aaron. And Aaron's like, no, I used the emoji. Like, when they asked, like, where's Uber's phone? I used the devil emoji.
I texted Jessel. I have the phone. You were incorrect. Just if we're really parsing it down.
If we're gonna parse it down, yes.
And then she was like, I used the winky face. So that's me telling her that I had the phone. To be honest, I would understand it, but did you specifically say I have her phone? No, you didn't. And Uber is the type of person where you have to be very much straightforward and clear. And that was, I think, the problem, because you weren't straightforward nor were you clear.
That sets me to another level.
Andy asked, like, why did it make you so mad? And, she hit it with a good question. She said, because Aaron has been at it with everyone on the show, and I just thought that it was just my turn. And I mean, literally, Aaron has got into it with every girl on the show. So Aaron and Sai felt like, with the whole hot tub situation, they felt like Aaron was ambushed. I don't feel like she was ambushed. I just felt like it was a proper moment just to go ahead and get out your grievances. We're in the hot tub, and they were just over here just firing off. Brynn fired off. Jessel fired off. I just like, girl, it was what it was. And my whole thing with Aaron, you didn't care when everybody else was ganging up on Jenna or Jessel. So it was what it was, right? Uber tells Aaron that, I wish you would just didn't say that you texted, I wish you would have just said that you didn't text Jessel, you text the group chat. And Brynn at this point is like over it. And she's just like, girl, are we in crazy town? What is going on? We just talked about this. What's going on? Uber starts to yell at her. She said, girl, I'm talking. And I'm like, oh.
Your location, find my iPhone. You want to know why I couldn't find my iPhone? Because I don't have a... I want to buy you, but no, I do want to.
I'm the only one here that's
No, honey.
Brynn's like, she was like, girl, I'm not scared of you. So it was what it was, girl. So they have like this little mini spat, and I'm just like, what's going on? Because like they will get into these big arguments and yell, and then they'll go back and hug each other. Crazy. Andy asked Jenna about Uber hot side, and it segues onto, the angry black woman stereotype. I did not like that. I said, because when he's talking about, okay, Jenna, you felt Uber's hot side, how she was very angry with you, and then they go to the angry black woman stereotype.
I was very disappointed to hear what you said. Uber doesn't have side.
The taste
I mean, this is men cause. Men cause.
Bitch, so for me, it's like you're trying to imply that there is a stereotype that black women are angry, and Jenna, you felt it too. I didn't like that at all, because my whole thing was, she was just, the way she said it was just very assertive, and she told her, like, look, if you're going to invite me to your house and there's cameras, can you please let me know? That's all it was. So Uber was telling Jenna, she was like, I didn't like that you were over here trying to imply that I have a side. And Jenna's trying to tell her, like, it was a play on words because, your hot sauce is called Uber hot. And Uber's not really getting the semantics, because Jenna did say, like, I did see her side and it was Uber hot. That's what she said in the confessional. But she's not really getting the semantics. And Uber's just like on one. She's just going. She's like, I don't care. Uber said, don't get being aggressive with assertive. And Brynn's like, girl, that is not assertive. So then, baby, when I say her and Brynn just going off like crazy, and it was just weird. I'm just like, y'all haven't been beefing at all. And like, she's over here just yelling her face. She's like, you don't know how, she was like, Uber tells her, like, she was like, look, mind your business, because I don't know if you don't know how to be loved. I don't know if you got people that care about you.
It wasn't, no, I wasn't. Listen, Amore, maybe you don't know how to be loved.
Oh.
or how to stand up for yourself. Watch your... No, we're two different.
And then Brynn tells her, she said, watch your fucking mouth. I'm like, Brynn said, you put people in the hospital, bitch, I put people in the motherfucking morgue. I said, okay, let me go ahead and get up.
You put people in the hospital? No, I put people in the funeral home.
You know what I do? I bury them. I bury them.
I'm half black and I'm half Irish.
Don't
you don't
speak
want
up me.
Like y'all about to really swing. And Brynn, you got a whole pilgrim outfit on. I don't think you want to over here have a titty pop out. Y'all sitting right beside each other too. Talk about, I put people in the morgue. And then Uber's like, I bury people. So shut the fuck up. Bada bada. I'm like,
Damn.
what's really going on? So Uber's still trying to talk. And Brynn's just like, at the end of the day, she said, shut up.
I saw a side of shut up. I saw a side of Uber. There's no side.
What side is this one?
I said, y'all hate each other. What is going on? Y'all through sabes, baby. Y'all through sabes. So she then talks to Jenna in closing. She's like, look, I look up to you, Jenna. So it hurt me for you to say that you're Team Aaron. Jenna goes on her apology tour. She's like, girl, I apologize. That's not what it was. Blah, 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 blah. So I just felt like, in that moment, I feel like Uber wants to control the narrative and how people see her. I get it because I feel like everybody do as well. I know I do. But, I mean, in this situation, you just can't. You have to just be your authentic self, right? You can't tell people how they're supposed to see you. Uber breaks down because she feel like no one had her back. And, I mean, she's, like, crying. And she's like, you know, I had everyone's back in the situation. I try to always be the voice of reason, but none of y'all bitches have my back. And, I mean, I can see that.
I'm so tired of just being kind and nice to people and nobody have my back.
We had her back. Come.
I do feel like Jessel did have her back though. Andy asked Aaron and Uber like, how do we move forward? And she's like, look, I love her. I just wish that she would have, you know, said it in a different way. Boom. And they mend fences. And that, to be honest, was like the end of the show. That they end with a cheers. Everybody was on a good amends. I feel like they set up a great season 2 for everyone to come back. They can definitely introduce some more ladies. But I enjoyed it. Uber and Brynn kind of shocked me. But y'all, let me know what you guys think. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Brian Keith, LG, Black Butte. Bet you didn't know we the Holy Trinity. Now let a God stop a y'all and break your head here. Step into the room and get up in the bed. It tastes sweet, that's cause I'm good. It tastes sour cause I'm better than the hood. Cause I get you hyper when I'm running all around cause I excite ya. Let me talk real quick. You can't even get with the shit. You wanna go toe to toe with my flow? The sour candy all